Fired head coach Doug Peterson today. Owner Jeffrey Lurie says they're rebuilding and will take their time hiring a replacement. One of the big decisions will be quarterback Carson Wentz. Wentz was replaced as the starter, and Lurie was careful how he talked about his future.
I'd take a sort of a more, probably a longer view of this was not the best season for our offense. It was a poor season, and we also had a poor season from Carson in terms of what he's been able to show in the past. Very fixable, and I fully expect him to realize his potential.
Philly fans had no problem sharing their thoughts and opinions on the Peterson news today on local radio.
This is ridiculous. You know what? I hope Doug Peterson goes somewhere and wins like multiple Super Bowls, and this franchise just goes 1-15 or 0-16 for multiple years. Because you know what? The fact that Howie Roseman is still here and he's going to get to help find another coach that's just going to be some lackey that'll do what they say and let them run the team. This organization is garbage. Great job, guys. Let's go hire another coach and fire him in 3 years. Awesome. I hate this team.
I mean, tell us how you really feel there. David and Willie, we've been talking about what would or could happen next in Philly as soon as that final game of the regular season was over. So what's your reaction to Doug Peterson being fired, David?
Well, if you listen to Jeffrey Lurie right there, it sounds like Carson Wentz is their quarterback. I mean, so you read between the lines, you don't have to look very far. Jalen Hurts obviously come in, plays really well, gives the team a spark. He gets pulled and they put Nate Sudfeld in. That for me was kind of crazy, and even more crazy now looking at Doug Peterson out of a job, because you only do that if you feel like you're going to be there for a couple years and you're trying to evaluate talent. Well, you're not trying to evaluate talent if you're going to be in Florida somewhere hanging out for the next year. So that was wild to me. But I think the most telling thing in what I heard right there in that comment before was they plan on Carson Wentz playing good football again for the Philadelphia Eagles. So maybe it's a contract thing. Maybe it's that money is just too great. But I don't know, Willie, let me know what you think. But that's what it sounded like from here.
Well, David, it's a hefty investment into Carson Wentz. So it's kind of hard to part ways, especially if you trade him and all the money that'll still be left, the dead money that'll be left on the books. And when you talk about Doug Peterson and moving on from him, there's more that factored in besides him making that in-game decision of taking out Jalen Hurts and saying that he's evaluating Sudfeld and putting him in the game. I don't understand that because it's still always about winning and finish the season and sending the right message. But I know there's other things that calculated into the decision with the ownership and whether it's coaches he wanted to bring in, what type of coaches, other things moving forward. If you're not on the same page and then players in the locker room are saying that we are not on the same page as the head coach, especially the quarterback and other key positions, then the ownership has to factor that in. Has he lost the locker room? Will our players still play for this man? Is he making the right decisions for this football team? Are we competing at a high level at all times? So I think there's a lot of things that factored in, but when you talk about a head coach that won a Super Bowl and went to the playoffs 3 times, I mean, it's tough with his pedigree, but he'll land somewhere else and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of people with very strong opinions about this one. The thing is now we have all offseason to continue to figure this out and ask all the questions that you guys had as well. All right, guys, thanks.
Unbelievable. And Coach Stefanski, this one's for him. Yeah. Let's go. For Joel and other guys who couldn't be here tonight, we're going to get hopefully a bunch of them back next week. We need everybody to go up and get after the world champions, all right? Really proud of you guys. Follow the schedule. Be where team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So now we're on the other end of the spectrum, right? A huge response from across the sports world to the Browns' dominating win over the Steelers last night. Just tweets and praise all over the place. The guys, of course, super excited there after the game on the field. Let's bring in a big hello, actually, to my friend Andrew Hawk. Hawk, your cheeks hurt yet? Because I'm sure you were smiling ear to ear the whole time last night after this game.
I'm just a winner, MJ, and that's all the life I know today. As you see, my team took care of business. All is well in Cleveland.
So you've been in that locker room, part of this organization. You understand the pulse of that fan base, too. How huge is this, and what is Cleveland feeling right now?
I mean, the city of Cleveland is on fire, as they should be. It's been a long time coming. For the players that have played there, like myself, I mean, we're competitors. You don't make it to that level of football without having those unrealistic expectations everywhere you go. So every player that was drafted there was an undrafted signing, a free agent signing that was traded there. We all came there with the thinking that we were going to be the catalyst to turn it around. So to see it finally happen, our families came there and also rooted on the team, thinking that we could be the spark to put them in the position that we see today. Thomas Edison was asked of what it was like to fail 1,000 times, and he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. It was an 1,000-step process to get to success. So every player feels vested and they have a stake in what you've seen last night with the organization.
Getting a little pensive there. All right, listen, Hawk, there was a lot of doubt, present company included, I'm not going to front, about whether or not the Browns could really pull off this win. Doubt is one thing, but disrespect, now, that's a whole other story, right? And you never hold back, my friend. And this is what you tweeted out yesterday when it comes to certain comments by Juju Smith-Schuster and others about the Browns. You tweeted, it's almost like you shouldn't taunt or disrespect an NFL team before you play them, while the current Cleveland players had their own response.
Any talk like that's going to be disrespectful to anybody on any team. So, we definitely didn't appreciate it, and clearly we made that known tonight with our performance, and we got to carry on with this momentum we got, getting this big win in their house. And I think we got what it takes to keep it going.
Juju's a heck of a player, but it's a new team out here, and we're gonna bring it every time.
I like Myles Garrett there, we didn't appreciate it, but still grinning on the side because he got that dub, and that's the only way to shut up a hater, right? So what was your response to how the Cleveland players really reacted to it?
I mean, they did what they're supposed to do. We're professional football players. These are grown men. We have families, kids. We devote